People often view crying as weakness, but psychology offers a completely different perspective. In reality, emotionally intelligent and deeply aware individuals tend to cry more than others.
We shame them because our culture values emotional suppression, urging us to control emotions and stay composed. This cultural norm often leads to suppressing natural emotional responses, teaching us to hide our tears. We are taught not to let others see us sweat or, more importantly, cry, reinforcing emotional hiding. Psychology reveals that people who cry easily are not weaker. They are wired differently and process emotions more deeply. This deeper processing is a key characteristic, as they feel, sense, and carry more than others. This phenomenon is now being explained by science, revealing the underlying reasons. We're now uncovering the hidden psychology of those who cry easily, pulling back the curtain on this trait. We'll explore what drives this trait, its revelations, and why it's been misread for so long. Recall being told to stop crying as a child, not as an adult, shaping early emotional responses. Childhood tears, whether from pain or deep feelings, were often met with parental or peer disapproval. And the response you got from a parent, a teacher, a peer was some version of, "Stop, be strong, don't cry."
Messages like, "Stop, be strong," become wired in early, teaching that emotional expression is a liability. From a very early age, most people learn that emotional expression is a liability. This conditioning shapes into how boys are explicitly told, "Don't cry," and girls learn the same lesson. Visible emotions are a weakness. This gender-neutral conditioning labels emotions as inconvenient, reinforcing suppression for everyone. Visible emotions are deemed inconvenient and a sign of weakness, creating a culture of emotional concealment. Tears are shamed, forcing intensely feeling children to hide them or face labels like too sensitive. The ones who felt things so intensely that tears came whether they wanted them or not, they learned to hide it, or they spent their lives being labeled. They are often labeled too sensitive or too emotional, burying a deeper psychological truth beneath conditioning. The psychological truth buried by conditioning is that sensitivity is a measurable trait, not a flaw. It's a documented difference in how nervous systems process the world, a unique way of experiencing. This measurable difference in nervous system processing highlights their unique interaction with the world.
Dr. Elaine Aron coined, highly sensitive person, for those whose brains process sensory and emotional information deeply.
These brains are genuinely wired to process emotional information more profoundly than average. Their tears are a natural response to intense emotions, stemming from their profound emotional depth. This is only the surface. Not all brains respond to emotion identically, revealing deeper processes. For most, emotional signals from touching commercials or sad songs register, but fade quickly. The emotional processing is relatively brief and doesn't linger for the average person.
Highly sensitive individuals experience these signals more intensely, deeply, and for longer periods.
Neuroimaging confirms stronger brain activation in these individuals, showing a more complete response. This stronger activation occurs in brain regions for awareness, empathy, and emotional processing, particularly the insula and the mirror neuron system. Their brains are not broken, they are simply more responsive to emotional input. This is why a person who cries easily might tear up at a movie scene that leaves everyone else completely unmoved. These are genuine, deep emotional responses, not merely superficial reactions. This isn't performance or manipulation. It's their nervous system functioning as designed. They pick up emotional frequencies at a level most people simply don't, sensing subtle nuances. They notice subtle cues others miss, like tension in a voice or a forced smile. They can also sense shifts in a room's energy before anyone else, perceiving deeper dynamics. They automatically and constantly read emotional subtext, like words on a page. Crying isn't a loss of control, but a response to real, unregistered events in the room. They intimately know an emotional experience unrelated to their own pain, feeling others' suffering. This isn't metaphorical. They physically experience it as if it's happening to them. This phenomenon of involuntary tears is termed empathic resonance by psychologists.
Psychologists call this empathic resonance. It's the neurological process by which we don't just understand another person's emotional state, we mirror it internally.
This mirroring runs deep for highly empathic individuals, creating a profound internal connection. Situations like a crying stranger or a friend struggling are not abstract for them. These experiences are deeply personal and impactful, not just distant observations.
They're experiences that land inside them, fully and immediately, and it creates something quietly exhausting that almost nobody talks about.
This emotional burden is rarely discussed, adding to their quiet exhaustion.
They absorb others' emotions, leading to feeling drained after social situations. While others find these interactions energizing, HSPs often feel depleted from constant emotional absorption. Their tears are not self-pity or weakness, but a direct response to others' reality. These tears are a signal of profound attention at a level most people don't achieve. But this empathy comes at a price. This deep empathy comes at a price, unlike most whose emotions dissipate quickly. For most people, emotions rise, peak, and dissipate within hours or a day.
For people who cry easily, emotions rarely fade within hours or a day. They go home and replay the conversation. They replay conversations, lie awake thinking, and revisit past moments, reliving emotions.
This happens not from drama, but because their minds haven't fully let go of the experience. This emotional rumination is an almost reflexive, non-choice process for highly sensitive individuals. The misunderstanding is not that they feel more emotions, but for longer, the signal lingers.
Their emotional experiences have extended duration as the processing runs deeper. This leads to unique insights about situations and people that others often miss. Their prolonged emotional engagement yields deeper understanding and insights. While others move on quickly, many profound thinkers and artists were deeply sensitive. This sensitivity fueled their creative and intellectual pursuits, making them profound figures.
This trait, causing tears where others shrugged, allowed them deeper insight into human experience. Emotional depth is uncomfortable but generative, leading to wisdom.
Carrying emotional weight is integrating, not failing to cope. It's a demanding process. They are actively making meaning out of their pain, but the body still requires a physical release. And that's where something unexpected enters the picture. For a long time, crying was written off by science as purely social. This view considered crying a learned social signal, not a deeper physiological response.
Recent neuroscience tells a more interesting story. Emotional tears contain measurably different chemical compositions.
These tears, connected to feeling, carry elevated stress hormones like cortisol.
They carry elevated levels of stress hormones, including cortisol and adrenocorticotropic hormone.
This chemical difference is significant, indicating a unique biological function for emotional tears. Crying might physically expel biochemical stress. After a genuine cry, people report a distinct shift. A sense of release and lifted pressure indicates the nervous system completing a necessary cycle.
They feel a release, a lifting of pressure, as if something tight has settled. This could be the nervous system completing a necessary emotional cycle.
For HSPs, this process is more frequent and crucial as their systems accumulate emotional load faster.
Their heightened sensitivity means they need this release more often, due to faster emotional accumulation.
Their emotional release valve triggers more often, serving as maintenance, not instability.
Like a pressure cooker, a functioning release valve is safer than one sealed shut. The person who cries when they need to isn't breaking down. They're regulating. And tears aren't always signs of falling apart. They're a form of emotional regulation.
Sometimes, tears indicate the mind actively restoring itself, a natural function. Viewing tears as function, not failure, shifts the entire perception of crying easily. Often overlooked, emotional people are exceptional in human relationships, excelling in what truly matters. HSPs are often the most compassionate, caring deeply and consistently, often at their own expense. Their empathy is innate and profound, making them natural caregivers.
They are better listeners, genuinely present to others' experiences.
They pick up on unspoken truths and emotional subtext, possessing high self-awareness.
They know their feelings and have learned to articulate them to manage their inner world. What if strength lies in allowing oneself to feel, without trading sensitivity for approval?
What if feeling deeply is not the opposite of strength, but its very essence?